Simon and Robyn Callum check out a new house in suburban Los Angeles as they're relocating from Chicago due to Simon's new job. The couple buys some items in a nearby store, and while Simon is waiting for Robyn, someone approaches him. The guy, Gordo Mosley, was Simon's high school mate. Simon introduces Robyn to Gordo and they exchange phone information, hoping to catch up sometime. Robyn starts decorating the house while Simon starts his new job. Robyn receives a wine bottle from Gordo as a welcome to the neighborhood token. She shares this with Simon and the two wonder how Gordo knew their address. Robyn interacts with her neighbors Lucy and Ron, and the former invites her for a drink. Robyn meets Lucy's toddler. She reveals that she had been pregnant but lost the child the year before. Robyn is surprised when Gordo shows up at the house. He gives Lucy a list of local people to call in case of anything. Robyn invites Gordo in for a house tour and asks him to stay for dinner. Simon joins them, and Robyn enjoys listening to Gordo talk about Simon in his school days. Simon is a security consultant but hopes to get a permanent position. Gordo shares that he did 2 tours in the army before being discharged. The company has a party where Simon introduces Robyn to his bosses and their wives. Robyn used to be a consultant in a huge company in Chicago, but she now works freelance. She fears that Simon might not want her to work again, but the latter is okay with her working so long as she takes care of her health. When they get home, they find a bottle of wine with a note from Gordo, thanking them for dinner and hoping to return the favor. They also find a packet of fish food, and Simon is freaked out when he sees that Gordo has left some koi fish in their empty pond. Robyn thinks it's a sweet gesture, but Simon reveals that Gordo was called Weirdo in school. As a joke, he clears Gordon's name on his phone address book and replaces it with Weirdo. A few days later, Gordo shows up at the house and helps Robyn fix the TV. As he places some tools in the kitchen, he sees his new name and leaves the house hurt. While having dinner with some friends, Simon talks about Gordo. He wants to lose all contact with Gordo, but Robyn feels that he is a good person, albeit awkward. After seeing the offensive name, Simon also needs clarification about why Gordo would invite them to dinner at his house. Nonetheless, Simon and Robyn accept the dinner invitation. They are taken aback by the luxurious mansion where Gordo resides. Gordo welcomes them in and reveals that the other couple that was supposed to join them had just cancelled. Shortly after, he excuses himself to receive a phone call from work, making Simon wonder why Gordo would leave them alone at his house as they barely know each other. When Gordo returns, Simon asks him what job he does nowadays to afford such a lavish home. Gordo apologizes, saying that he had lied about the call being from work. Instead, it was his wealthy ex-wife whose house they are in. He explains that he's trying to make things work for the sake of their children. Simon asks Robyn for some time to chat with Gordo alone. He wants Gordo to stay away from Robyn. Simon feels Gordo is after Robyn, so he warns him against returning to his house. One day, Robyn returns from a run and discovers all the koi fish dead and their dog missing. She tells Simon about this and Simon rushes to Gordo's house. To his surprise, another couple answers the door and reveals it's their house. Robyn and Simon report their case to 2 detectives. The detectives confirm that Gordo was the mansion couple's driver and had access to the garage, hence how he might have gotten into the mansion. Unfortunately, they lack proof that Gordo kidnapped the dog, so the best they can do is to ask him nicely. In the following days, Robyn starts hearing footsteps in the house and suspects she is not alone. She seeks refuge in Lucy's home but uses the chance to steal some of Lucy's prescription pills for her insomnia. That night, she hears some noise and goes to investigate. She finds her dog by the door, and Simon believes Gordo is playing games with them. Shortly after, Robyn finds a letter in her mailbox from Gordo. He apologizes for the dinner, saying he's not as successful as they are and is ashamed of his house. He promises that his intentions weren't to upset them and that he was willing to let bygones be bygones after all those years. Robyn asks Simon what those words mean, but the latter has no idea. At work, Simon impresses his bosses, and when he asks about getting a more permanent position, he learns that his only competition is his co-worker Danny. Meanwhile, Robyn becomes so increasingly paranoid that she starts dreaming of Gordo ambushing her while she's in the bathroom. She gets so anxious that she faints, and when she comes to, she finds herself on the bed. Simon confronts her about the pills he found, wondering if she's using them again and revealing that she had a drug problem in Chicago. Robyn explains her increasing paranoia as the reason she had fainted earlier. She fears Gordo and wants Simon to reach out and make peace. Simon urges Robyn to take it easy as they move to have a fresh start. Soon, things start to improve. Robyn discovers she is pregnant, the couple hangs out with a few more friends, and Robyn's mental well-being improves. One day, while shopping with Simon's sister, she discovers Gordo is stalking her. She goes to confront him, but Gordo vanishes. Robyn asks Simon's sister about Gordo, and the former reveals what had happened. Simon and his friend Greg had found Gordo being molested by an older kid and reported it. Unfortunately, Gordo was termed gay and became bullied and humiliated, causing him to transfer school. Robyn is still disturbed as she doesn't understand why Gordo would be angry at Simon if the latter had saved him. She does some digging and finds that Simon has run background checks on Gordo and Danny. She looks into Gordo's file and finds that he has been arrested multiple times. She shares her findings with Lucy, who advises her to tell Simon. However, Robyn wants to find Greg and find out exactly what happened. She visits Greg at his chiropractor parlor. Robyn reveals her relation to Simon and asks about Gordon. Greg is reluctant to talk, but Robyn keeps pestering him until he admits that Simon had fabricated the molestation issue because he was a bully. Gordo's life was ruined following the rumor, as many kids beat him up and Gordo had a terrible fallout with his father. At home, Robyn confronts Simon about his part in ruining Gordo's life. When Gordo's father found out his kid was gay, he tried to burn him alive, causing him to be arrested for attempted murder, and Gordo was sent to military school. Simon claims that his father also bullied him, and instead of crying about it, he made something of himself. He thinks Robyn, who was also bullied, is looking for her attribution, causing Robyn to slap him. Later, Simon apologizes for his actions and promises to seek out and apologize to Gordo. Simon tracks Gordo and tries to apologize. However, Gordo sees through the non-apology and tells Simon that he may be done with the past, but the past isn't done with him. This remark angers Simon, and he shoves Gordo to the ground. He pins his face on the floor and threatens to harm him should he come near his family again. When he gets home, he tells Robyn that Gordo has accepted his apology and that all is well. Simon gets the permanent job position and holds a party at his house. He is about to give a speech when he hears some noise on the roof. As he and his friends start to investigate, a rock hits the glass windows, shattering them. Simon grabs a bat and runs outside, where a strange guy attacks him. The two scuffle before the rest of the people separate them. The other guy turns out to be Danny. He accuses Simon of sending an email with fabricated lies to the bosses to defeat him on the job. Simon dejectedly lets the guy go. Seconds later, Robyn goes into labor and is rushed into the hospital where she delivers her baby boy. After being well rested, she asks Simon for a separation, explaining that she's not ready to return to the house with him. Simon gets a phone call from his boss at work, sharing that the email has been proven scandalous and he needs to clear his desk as soon as possible. Simon goes home to rest but finds a gift on the porch. He opens the box to find a Moses cradle basket, a CD, a flash drive, and keys to Simon's house. He listens to the CD, which contains an audio recording of him making fun of Gordo the day Gordo had invited them over for a meal. The flash drive has a recording of Gordo watching Robyn and touching her when she fainted that time. The drive confirms that all of Robyn's suspicions were correct. Concurrently, Gordo visits Robyn with a black eye and a sling on his hand. Gordo congratulates Robyn on her child and reveals that Simon had caused his injuries and not apologized as he said he had. Simon rushes back to the hospital but finds Robyn missing and misses Gordo on the elevator. Gordo calls Simon and starts taunting him. He says that he could tell him whether or not he had molested Robyn and fathered the baby, but he won't do it because Simon refused to take responsibility once before. Gordo watches as Simon breaks down, having lost his wife, job, and maybe his son. He removes his sling and walks away, content with his vengeance. Do leave a comment telling us your favorite part of the movie. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next recap. Until next time, folks, take care and goodbye.